How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another show. This is You May Roscoe, and I am Roscoe. And today's show, we're going to be doing a reaction to what is actually a documentary. That I'm going to end up breaking up into pieces. More than likely, like three. So this will be the first of those. This is Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, A Courtship of Rivals Basketball. And we'll be checking this out. Before we do that, I do want to ask for anybody who hasn't already that they please subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you'll be reminded of future shows. I do want to give a shout out to Lady Shar from Lady Shar Reacts. She suggested that I check this out, so I wanted to do it. So much love, shout out to Lady Shar, and while we're speaking of her, please make sure that you go over to her channel. That's Lady Shar Reacts. At some point I'll end up putting like links and all that to these people, but I feel like more than likely she'll end up commenting once I do post this. So once you do see her comment, you can kind of take it from there. But again, much love to you, lady. And let's go ahead and get this started.
They talk about it every day, somewhere. If I go to a foreign country, magic, what magic? I mean, it's the same everywhere.
We don't have to see each other. We don't have to say hello. We don't have to call each other.
That's my main competition. It's always been like that.
You got this tight bond with this cat, and you don't have to see him for a year or two. But you're always going to be linked to him.
We got this connection that's never going to be broken. I mean, right to our graves. They'll be talking about this 100 years from now.
And I'm already excited. I'm so here for this. But let's keep it going.
It all began here in Salt Lake City, Utah, on the night of March 26, 1979. It was the NCAA championship, Indiana State versus Michigan State, a game that still ranks as the highest-rated college final ever on television. A game that's now remembered as a prologue to a rivalry that transformed a sport and intertwined two legacies. But on that night, March 26, 1979, the first time Magic Johnson and Larry Bird ever went head-to-head on a basketball court, they were simply two young men trying to win a very big ball game.
Well, this is probably the biggest game I'll ever play in my life, and I just feel like, I'm representing not only myself, my team, but we're representing our school and our town, Terre Haute.
Well, it's a dream come true, really, for me. I won the state title back in my home state, and then my next accomplishment was going to the NCAA and playing in a game like tonight in the finals.
They were two stars thrown together by the cosmos to compete, but only one of them had been groomed for the spotlight. In his case, it seemed since birth.
I think his upbringing in East Lansing really put that smile on his face in the beginning, and it never came off.
Born August 14, 1959, Irvin Johnson grew up in Lansing, the gritty industrial capital city of Michigan. Raised under this little roof, he was one of Christine and Irvin Johnson Sr.'s 10 kids. Christine was a school custodian, while Irvin Sr. worked 2 jobs nearly around the clock.
My father, he got up early every morning, 6 o'clock or so, and he went to work on his trash hauling truck every single day. Around noon, he would come home, catch a nap, and then he worked for General Motors for 30 years. And he won an award for never being late and never missed a day.
That's what I'm talking about. You know, like that type of work ethic. I think that kind of died with my generation. You know what I mean? Because he was born in '59. I believe that's my mom's, or was my mom's birth year. You know, but yeah, no, that generation, all they understood was the grind. Like, it's all about the grind, you know, and the fruits will come from that eventually. You know, a lot of those people probably they probably worked so hard, they worked themselves to the grave, you know, and didn't really get to probably, you know, enjoy the fruits themselves, but the fruits was enjoyed by, you know, their kids, the wives, all that, you know what I mean? So yeah, no, I respect that grind. You know, I got that in me. You know what I mean? Like, real talk. Like, I'm all about the grind, and whoever ain't about that, you know, I'm kind of looking at like, for real. You know what I mean? I mean, we got time to do it, so why ain't we doing it? You know what I mean? That's kind of always been my thing. But let's keep this moving.
As a youngster, Irvin displayed his own strong work ethic on the blacktop.
I was out there all day long. Before we went to school, the bus leave at 7:30. I was out there at 6:30 working on my game. My mother sometimes had to bring me food, or she would have one of my brothers and sisters go get that boy so he could eat something.
From a very young age, Irvin knew what he wanted to do. He had it all planned out.
My dreams were to play in the NBA and become a businessman.
The first neighborhood basketball powerhouse, Sexton High.
I knew the players, I knew the tradition. I wanted to be a part of that. And it was on the west side of town, which was at that time predominantly black.
But when Lansing, like many cities in the mid-'70s, began busing to desegregated school system, Irvin's journey took an unexpected detour to a predominantly white school across town.
My first day at Everett High School was my first time I really had to understand there was a race problem. Nobody white would speak to anybody black, and nobody black would speak to anybody white.
A lot of racial tension, a lot of fights, rioting. They didn't want minorities there.
He kind of shrugged it off, and basically his attitude was, okay, well, I'll overcome this.
Whenever there was any racial problems, the principal would get Irvin and go talk to these kids. I can just see him with his big hands. Calm down, just calm down. He'd break up fights.
Talk with his friends, tell him, you know, let it go. You know, we can't fight about everything. Let's just chill, let's play basketball.
And there was no dispute over Irvin Johnson's ability to play ball. His talent was so great that soon after his varsity debut, a local reporter, dazzled by his exploits, gave the budding star a nickname.
In the beginning, I thought it was foolish and dumb. You know, I didn't know nothing about a nickname. Then what happened was, you start saying, wait a minute, it fits my game. Hanging out with my boys on the street corners, we used to sing Temptation songs. They started saying, hey man, Magic, that's cool. And then people on the street started saying, hey Magic. And I said,
He bought into it, and I think he felt he had to kind of live up to that name.
Long live knowing what you like and sticking with it.
And I must say that he did.
He loved it. The more attention he got, you know, he wanted attention from anybody he could get it from.
Yeah, it does. I really love the game, and I just want to win.
That afro was off the chain, and in a good way. You know, it just prickly all over the place and whatnot. That afro was huge, man. Oh my goodness.
Gets it over and back, and he jams it through. Irvin Johnson.
Irvin loved to dress. Nice Sanderbelt pants and overcoats with the fur around the collar. Always had to have his afro blown out. He had to look the part, play the part.
Irvin was the first guy to have a posse. He not only had a posse of a lot of black kids, he had a lot of white kids and hanging around him.
Some of my white friends was like, hey man, we're having a kegger tonight, won't you come on by? And I said, what's a kegger? So he said, well, what it is, we get this big keg of beer and you just go for it. Okay, well, what time does the kegger start? Because regular party time in our neighborhood is 10, 11 o'clock. The kegger starts at 7. I said, the party starts at 7 o'clock? And I said, okay, man, I'm gonna come to the kegger. We had a good time.
It's probably still like that to this day, you know what I mean? I mean, it's probably changed a little bit, but you know, yeah, the start times be different, you know what I mean? For us, you know, CPT is real. So you have to push it back because you know people ain't gonna show up at the right time, you know what I mean? So, so let's keep it going.
The music was kind of bad, but we had a good time, you know.
His senior year, Johnson did at Everett what he had planned to do at Sexton, win the state championship. And when it came to choosing a college, he decided to stay where the love would be assured, home in Lansing.
Next year, I will be attending Michigan State University.
At MSU, Magic's star quickly went national. But atop the college game, he soon discovered a certain presence beside him.
The first time I saw Larry Bird was actually in a magazine. Saw his stats, blown away by his stats. But let's see if he can really do it against us. And that's always a mindset of black players if he's a great white player.
In 1978, after his freshman year, Magic would quickly find out, when both he and Bird were chosen to play for Team USA in the World Invitational Tournament.
They would put Larry Bird and I on the same team together to scrimmage, right? It was blowing my mind because he's dominating Jack Givens, Player of the Year in college basketball. Larry Bird is eating him alive. I couldn't wait to call home to tell my boys, man, this dude.
Wow, this is stuff I ain't seen. I've never seen this footage of them on the USA team or the qualifier team or whatever this is. But I've never seen this footage before of them being on the same team. So that's excellent right there, man. Shit, that's dope.
Dude named Larry Bird is for real. This is the baddest white dude I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I thought he was very good. There's no question about it. I thought he's probably the best guard on the team.
Irvin Johnson, look at that. Oh!
That pass, dude.
We didn't get to play a lot, but you could tell.
I think our first game was in Kentucky. We got about a 10, 12-point lead. Man, they put us in. Went to 25, 30, just that fast.
Fast break again, 3-on-2. Griffin. Wow! And that's steal by Larry Bird.
Take us out, the lead go back down, put us back in.
That's Bird and Johnson.
The show start again.
When you play with Magic, there's just something about it. You want to make that extra pass. You want to get that rebound and start the break.
We came down a couple times. I go behind my back, no look to him. He no look back to me, and I'm laying it.
Dude, these passes, dude. Oh my God, man. Oh my God.
I said, oh man.
Here's that last play. Magic Johnson going in, drops off to Bird. Bird puts it back off, inside to Johnson. Super basket.
This guy got game.
They had some wonderful moments on the court, but they probably spoke to each other 4, maybe 5 times during that entire time period. And it was more like, hello, how are you this morning, Larry? I'm good, Magic. What'd you have for breakfast? Don't remember. Have a nice day.
But such curtness was hardly strange coming from Larry Bird, who was not only one of college basketball's best players, but also its biggest enigma.
I think he was a mystery to the extent that he wanted to be a mystery. He didn't enjoy doing interviews. He didn't go out of his way to do them. He wasn't particularly good at them. He was kind of like, hey, this is who I am. You want to know who I am? Watch the game. That's who I am.
I start to read materials that you're very quiet and you don't enjoy talking to newspaper people.
Well, you know, there's different kind of newspaper people. There's people that try to push you. You know, there's people try to get things out of you. Things don't even pertain to basketball, and them are the type of people I like to stay away from.
He didn't want people talking about his family. He didn't want his mother to have to deal with that or his siblings to have to deal with that.
You got to remember where Larry came from. You know, Larry was raised in a 2 or 3 room house on a railroad track. Their family probably lived on $50 a week. He was raised tough.
Larry Joe Bird grew up in southern Indiana, in the twin towns of French Lick and West Baden. The Valley, as locals call it, was a tough working-class area. Tiny and remote, it was one of the poorest places in the state.
I didn't know that people made millions of dollars. I didn't know that everybody had a family car. I was in my own cocoon. I was in a small town with the people I knew, and I thought I would live there for the rest of my life.
Arriving Pearl Harbor Day 19...
Look, a little baby bird. The little baby bird looked the same way. Look, the little bird is chirping.
56, Larry was the 4th of 6 kids born to Georgia and Joe Bird. Early on, he and his older brothers earned a reputation around the valley.
We were always considered troublemakers. We're either fighting amongst ourselves or there was always one of us fighting somebody. Larry was always one that kind of instigated things, you know.
If I get my brother in a fight with...
The trash talking, that the genesis of it is from his kid days. I get it.
Somebody his age, I was happy as hell because I like to see him get beat up, and that's just the way it was. If I got in a scrape with some kid and my brothers didn't come to my side, they knew that when he got home, my dad was going to whip him.
Larry and my dad were best of friends. They done everything together. When my dad would go out to my grandma's house, Larry would always go with him. They'd go fishing, do a lot of things together.
But Joe Bird also had a darker side, stemming from a traumatic tour of duty in Korea.
Larry remembers waking up in the middle of the night hearing his father's blood-curdling screams from the nightmares he had from the war. What happened to his father in the war affected his entire life. He was never able to quite get rid of whatever those demons were.
A talented craftsman, Joe Bird struggled to hold steady jobs. And even when he was working, his demons would, on occasion, drive him to the bottle.
There were times when Joe went out with the guys and had a few beers and the wages didn't come home that night. And that didn't happen every day. It happened once in a while, but when money is as tight as it was for the Birds, once in a while was a major problem for their family.
My mom sometimes worked late and sometimes she had 2 jobs, but that's the way it was. I worked at school during my lunch hours, worked at the local grocery store, put up hay in the summer. I mean, if you wanted money, you had to get it on your own.
To young Larry, actions spoke louder than words.
He was very quiet, kind of hung to himself a little bit.
I saw Larry take an F in an English class because he had to get up in front of his peers and give a speech. So I won't do it. But he just could not get up in front of his friends and talk. He was that shy.
Of course, next thing you know, when he knew it was time for all of us together at the gymnasium, there he'd be. The minute he'd get a basketball in his hand, things were totally different.
Basketball was just, it came to me, seemed like easy. I didn't have the quickness, I didn't have jumping ability. I just thought the game out.
By his senior year at Springs Valley High, Larry Bird had sprouted into a star. But Bird was from the Valley, hardly a hotbed of talent in the big-time world of Indiana hoops.
The first thing they
Man, this is man, you talk about a tough look. upbringing. Man, Jesus. Oh, keep it going.
Say, well, they don't play nobody down there. He's from French Lick. They don't play nobody.
I think that put a chip on his shoulder, always having to prove who he was and how good he was.
He was good enough for Indiana University's Bobby Knight to come calling.
Wow, never seen Bob Knight that young ever with dark hair. Like my whole life, all I seen when I seen Bobby Knight was the grays. You know what I mean? And he still looked like the same a-hole. Still look like the same a-hole, but shout out to Bobby Knight, man. I don't think he's here no more. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, he was, man, you talk about tough as nails, dude. Oh my Jesus. Bobby Knight. And I liked a couple of Bobby Knight teams. I liked the one team that had Calvert Chaney on the team. Like that was one of my favorite Indiana teams. But let's keep this going.
Late his senior year. And folks in the Valley couldn't have been prouder. Their local hero was heading 60 miles north to play ball for one of the best college teams in the land.
Once I got to IU, it didn't take long to realize that I was out of my cocoon, had over 30-some thousand students, that I didn't have the funds. First week and a half, I thought, man, this ain't gonna work.
He left after 24 days.
Let my mother down. She didn't talk to me for 2 months, but it didn't matter what other people said. To this day, I don't care.
Back in French Lick, Bird took to working for the city, hauling trash and painting park benches. Meanwhile, by that winter, his father's demons had taken him to an even darker place.
By this point, Joe and Georgia were divorced, and he was behind in his payments to the family. The police came by, and of course they all knew him. So Joe said, hey, I need a few hours to get my affairs together before you take me away. So he called Georgia and he said, you guys will be better off without me, and I'm gonna take my life. And he put the phone down and he killed himself.
Oh,
he shot himself.
Wow. Wow, that's tough. That's tough. Whew. You know, and it just brought back some stuff for me. You know, my dad. You know, but my dad was struggling with drugs and all that type of stuff for who knows how long. But yeah, eventually, like he would overdose on my 13th birthday. You know, but yeah, no, it's man, it's tough when your dad's not around at such a young age. At least he was a tiny bit older, but still though, like you still a young dude, and like you be needing dad, you know. So it's really tough to maneuver, and you know, who do you ask man questions to at this point, you know? So that was tough right there, but let's keep it going.
When Dad passed, you know, it hurt Larry. I mean, that was his best friend. Is gone now. But Larry didn't show it a lot.
He just didn't say much. You know, he just kind of held it within. I've never heard him speak out about it at all.
Wow. Yeah.
I was mad when I heard about it, and I was madder after the funeral because I thought he sort of cut out on us during a tough time. But you know, he went through a lot in his life.
That's crazy, dude.
He did what he had to do.
That's crazy because like me as a kid, and I you know, I probably am carrying like some of that anger still, but I know how to like channel it into something else now, you know, as a grown up. But me as a kid, like I was mad for a long time and very upset at my dad. You know what I mean? Like yeah, I felt like dude, you cheated me by taking yourself away. You know what I mean? So Man, this is getting emotional now. This is crazy, dude.
To do.
Yeah, let me push this back. Let me because I don't want to miss nothing of what Bird said. And I know I probably missed like a couple of words in there here and there, but I'm also trying to push this forward because it's such a long one, even though I'm gonna dice it up. So let's push this back just a little teeny bit.
Off without me, and I'm going to take my life. And he put the phone down and he killed himself. He shot himself.
When Dad passed, it hurt Larry. I mean, that was his best friend. Is gone now. But Larry didn't show it a lot.
He just didn't say much. He just kind of held it within. I've never heard him speak out about it at all. I was mad when I heard about it, and I was madder after the funeral because I thought he sort of cut out on us during a tough time. But he went through a lot in his life. He did what he had to do.
If Bill Hodges hadn't been as persistent as he had been, Larry Bird might never have existed in any of our minds. I believe that with all my heart. I really do.
It was Bill Hodges, a young coach from Indiana State University, who convinced Bird to give college hoops another shot. So with a promise to his mom to graduate, Bird headed to Terre Haute and ISU, a school that never so much had been to the NCAA tournament.
Once I started playing, it's the same old thing. He's at a small school and he ain't playing against anybody, which is fine. Still dominated.
Wherever Hoosiers gather, they no longer talk of whether Indiana has a new state bird. Now his claim to fame is just the way he plays the game. Indiana has a new state bird. It's not the Cardinal now. Hey Larry, take a bow. Indiana has a new state bird.
By the time he had led tiny ISU as a senior to a 33-0 record and a spot in the '79 title game, Larry Bird had become, alongside Magic Johnson, the talk of college basketball. Just a year after sharing the court on Team USA, they were back together. And the day before the big game, Magic couldn't wait to greet his old playmate.
Indiana State was on practicing, and we were waiting in the tunnel. We got there early. I wanted to definitely say hello to Larry, When they came through, it was like nobody would say nothing. I wanted to go toward him, like his guys, made sure that he didn't say nothing. And then they kind of started snickering, like, Michigan State, you in trouble. We're going to kill you guys tomorrow.
I probably did snub him. I don't remember it, but I'm sure I did. I didn't want any, like I call it love fest, hugging and slapping high fives with opponent. You're there for a reason. You're there to win a game.
That just said it's on now.
It is Indiana State against Michigan State. I'm Bryant Gumbel, and the fans here are going bananas.
I mean, let's face it, if Larry Bird were black and came from Chicago, it wouldn't have been as big a deal. They were polar opposites. One black, one white, one outgoing, one shy. That was the charm of the attraction.
The Bird against Magic. All of the superlatives have been used, and believe me, all of them have been warranted.
Heading into the tournament, Magic was the bigger star. But by tip-off, it was Bird, having hardly missed a shot in the semifinal, who had become the focus of fans, and more importantly, of Michigan State.
We actually had two men on Larry everywhere he went.
There he is, Dick. Look at they have him sandwiched in completely.
I'm surprised they didn't play a box on one. 4 guys on Larry and one on the other 4.
That is crazy, yo.
Because they didn't have a lot of talent. If you stop Larry, you pretty much stop them.
Look at the pressure around him. 2-3 men, and he's short.
I didn't play well at all. Biggest game of my life, I didn't play well.
Bird, way short.
I think our length and our size, our jumping ability was able to bother him.
Bird hanging, can't score.
I didn't shoot well.
I'm laughing because when Magic said that, man, that was almost like code. You know what I mean? Especially like what I imagine for those days and times. Like at that time period, I can't imagine too many like hyper athletic white dudes. You know what I mean? And we've been jumping out the gym forever. Since they let us in the gym, that we've been jumping out the gym. But yeah, no, I can imagine that, if Bird is running around with, a team full of, white guys, they probably were talented dudes. I don't know who was on that team. As far as I know, no legends came from that team other than Larry. But yeah, no, they probably was just like, just some run of the mill dudes and, Larry Bird, and then you get, Magic and some athletes. It's gonna look crazy. It's gonna look crazy. So let's keep this going.
Well, missed I think 3 free throws.
Larry Bird has had a cold shooting night.
I battled him, but I didn't have it.
Sit your butt down. Sit your butt down. Wow.
It's all over. Michigan State University, national champions, 1979. Magic, not only were you a leader on offense, I thought you did a great job on Larry Bird in the zone, denying him the ball.
Yes, Coach gave us a good game plan to go against Larry Bird, and all we had to do was go out and do it. That's what we done.
And congratulations, Super Bowl game.
They didn't even name the rest of it. He didn't say the rest of the team. Like the rest of the team was not a focus whatsoever. We just need to beat Larry Bird, not Indiana State. Larry Bird. That is crazy. That is crazy.
It was over, That was my 4 years. I was done. No, it still hurts. And when you win 33 in a row and you walk into a game, you never know what to expect, but I expect to win. We didn't win.
33 in a row.
Toughest loss I ever took.
I knew it was going to haunt him forever because we were going to see each other a lot.
The National Basketball Association, in its 33rd season, is troubled by diminishing crowds and declining television ratings, signs that fan interest may be waning.
If college basketball was flourishing at the end of the 1970s, the pro game was crumbling. After the golden era of Bill Russell and Jerry West in the 1960s, a merger with the ABA in 1976 had led not only to new teams, but a new temperament.
It was a new league with new times, with renegades, with individuals.
There was an argument made, plausibly, I think, that it was too black a league for the United States of America.
Wow. First of all, that perm that Chocolate Thunder had, I saw that. Daryl Dawkins all permed out, but and the artist Gilmore sighting was nice. But yeah, no, I've heard stories about the league back in those days, seeing lots of clips from that time, and yeah, I knew about the fact that the NBA wasn't looked at in the best light, basically, like it was everything that they were saying, like it was a lot of fighting going on, and of course I would learn about the fact that people were actually like they thought that if so many black people in the game was a bad thing. It was just like, wow, to hear that once I had started getting involved in watching basketball, because at that point in my life, most of the league was that. There was a good chunk of white dudes still around, but like it wasn't that talk of it's too black and all that wasn't happening by the time I watched it. So yeah, this is something else. But let's keep it going.
In the late 1970s.
You think about the Knickerbockers at the time.
Bill Cartwright.
The running joke was it was the Knickerbockers. That's what it was. It was the N-word.
It's turning off a lot of white customers that are coming to the game,
Why?
I think there's still there's a conflict between the white and the black, and I don't enjoy going to the basketball and seeing all black players.
I mean, I think when they said too black, they meant not just in terms of color, but in terms of style. Let me get mine, and the hell with yours.
Basketball for us was about the best moves. You wanted to be that big player that everybody talked about. You wanted to be the one. You didn't think about winning championships or team play.
And those were just the issues on the court.
The NBA had this image of an all-black league with a bunch of guys who did drugs. The teams were losing money, and they had no sponsors. And that's pretty much a death knell right there.
It's a known fact that you need your white superstars. You just need more white ball players on the team for the white fans to identify with.
And in the newest member of the Boston Celtics, that's exactly what the league appeared to be getting.
There's hope he can help solve professional basketball's difficulties, which some say are compounded by a question of black and white.
Right.
The Great White Hope. What does that mean?
Well, it's very hard to say because there's a lot of great white players around, and I just hope that I can just fit in as well as some of them that has fit in.
He ran away from that designation. He made it very clear, almost from day one, that he was not the Great White Hope.
The great players are the black players, and they're the best.
Such deference meant little to.
That's and that's why I love Bird. Bird just say what it is. He ain't put no politics into it and all that. And we still have people doing that to this day, wanting to, because of their political affiliation, race, and all that, they're being delusional in how they assess things. Like people would just outright say, this guy is the best because of his color, or this guy, and it's like, no, you know what I mean? Like, let's be real and not be delusional, but yeah, let's keep it moving.
To black Celtics like Curtis Rowe, Sidney Wicks, and Cedric Maxwell, who looked at Bird and saw not the Great White Hope, but another case of Great White hype.
He didn't impress me no more than any white guy I've ever seen play before. I think that you would say that most black players at the time were racist, in the sense that we did not think that you could find a white guy who could play better than any black guy.
When I walk in the first day of camp, them guys were on the floor stretching, and here comes the white savior, here comes this, here comes that. I sort of enjoyed it because I knew I was going to battle them all day. But Curtis and Sidney didn't last long. They didn't even make it through the first practice. Wow. They were cut. So that was just Cedric.
I'm thinking, oh, he's slow, he can't get off a shot. He's not that strong. This is gonna be a layup. Bam, knocks down a jump shot. Okay, maybe that was luck. Gets the ball again. Bam, knocks down another jump shot. Now I'm thinking like, okay, hey, you know what? I'm gonna D this guy up. I'm gonna show him what it's like. 20 feet away. Bam, 25 feet away, bam. My mind just goes something, damn, this white guy can play.
It was a good thing, too. The storied Celtics might have been the winningest team in NBA history, but they were fresh off their worst season in 30 years. And in Bird, they had a player who was not only supremely talented, but tough enough to take on any challenge.
I always played like everybody in the world was against me. I thought everybody was against me. I should think up things to get me rattled before a game.
Jerry West, you didn't get it.
He knew how to fight. I know that from off the floor.
One night, somebody was
giving one of his buddies a hard time, and Larry went over and, said, hey, this is my friend, and this guy was a pretty good sized guy. By golly, they go out back, and the guy turns and says something to Larry, and Larry hit this guy, and I caught him. Hit him so hard, I go, whoa. He was from the old school, and that's how he played.
Larry Bird plays it to the hilt, baby.
Played the game hard, played rough.
There was no frills about him. He came in, he threw elbows. There was nothing smooth about Larry. New Englanders like that. They're hardworking people. They like that that's how people view them, and that's what Larry was.
Larry Bird follows his own shot.
That was crazy. Yeah, let's let that play.
They also like winners. And when Bird led the Celtics to the NBA championship in just his second season, he was finally one of those too. Boston loved Larry Bird. It just wasn't so clear at first how much Bird loved the city back.
There's only one place I'd rather be, French Lick. Thank you.
Man, Larry was...
Yeah, I'm gonna stop it right there. We got to see Bird get his first one in. That's dope. But yeah, we're gonna, let's see, we're at the 45. Yeah, I'm gonna stop it right there. Make sure, let's see where we at there. All right, cool beans. That's yeah, well, that's about cool. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end it right now at this point, I suppose. This was pretty dope. Oh, I thought it had stopped. I'm sorry. I totally thought it stopped, Obi. I'm sitting here wondering what had happened, but I'm gonna end this at this point right now, and we'll start at part 2 of this, but I'll just end it at this point. But that was pretty good up to what we saw right there. Got to saw pretty much the making of Bird up until the first championship. Yeah, and look at Mikhail looking all lanky and happy. But this was fun. I really can't wait to get into parts 2, 3, maybe a 4, given how much time we have or whatever. But I'm gonna end this at this point right now. What I'm gonna do is ask for everybody who hasn't already that they like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the share button, hit the playlist option. You'll pick the one name. What is it? Is it basketball reactions? Is that what it? Yeah, that's what it'll be. So basketball reactions, sports reactions. I think I named it one of those. But just looking at playlists for this, I do have playlists for other things as well. So check out all that stuff. The Cash App is on the screen, $ You Made Roscoe. The PayPal is on the screen at You Made Roscoe. So for those who like to show their support or appreciation for the work, there's that. Yeah, this was a pretty good start to this. Pretty good start. Like I said, I can't wait to get into the rest of it. So I'm gonna get going, and I will see you guys again very soon. So until next we meet, y'all be safe and y'all be good.